Hi everyone, Tami from Nutmeg Notebook. We're still here at Local Spicery in Marysville, California with Nick the proprietor, and he is a spicerer. That's not easy to say.
It's a real word.
Okay, if you say so. I'm going to look it up, actually. I'm going to look it up. You should have some kind of a certificate or something that says that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you deserve that, some kind of certification. So we're here, he's going to show us right now the SOS Free Spices that they have, because we don't add any salt, oil, or sugar to our cooking. Those of you that follow me eat the same way that I do, and Nick and his wife are transitioning more towards that way as well, which is very fortunate for us since he owns Local Spicery. That means he's going to be creating even more SOS-free versions for us to have. So you want to show me some of your favorites?
Yeah, just to take it at a little bit higher level for just a brief second. I mean, why is it important to have spices and blends that are SOS free, or that we tell you that are SOS free? And one of the first things is US FDA in labeling does not require that you call out all of the distinct spices that are in a spice blend, nor even spices in a product. So it's totally legal for someone just to say under ingredients spices and not tell you what's in here. So
that's a little scary.
Yeah. So unless you know the company and you know that they're being comprehensive in their labeling, you don't necessarily know everything that's in here. But something that I mentioned earlier is for people who are serious about being vegans, a lot of times a very, very common product that's used as an anti-caking ingredient in spices is actually made out of bones. So it's an animal product, and it's something, even when you're not SOS free, if you're eating plant-based, you don't want to be eating. So you do want to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, absolutely. So if it just said spices on there and it didn't list them, is sugar considered in that spices?
It could be, yeah, it certainly could be. Yeah, there's no reason it couldn't be.
And so salt certainly could be as well. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a good tip on label reading, and we may not know.
Yeah, just know who you're buying from.
Okay. So show us some of your favorites.
Yeah, so what we've got here, I mean, we have a huge, obviously you see a large selection of gifts and gift boxes. Yes. The two that I think kind of sum it up. And actually when we first went to the Eat Healthy Sacramento, these are the ones we brought. One which was Inspiration Sweet Without Sugar, because using spices you can draw sweetness without any type of sugar at all. And what we have in here is the gingerbread spice that you'd mentioned.
One of my favorites.
The Saigon cinnamon, which is just candy.
It is.
And we added cardamom seed. Cardamom is, for me, is probably my favorite flavor in the entire world.
Really?
And then the other one that is the flavor without salt, which is, you can really, a lot of what we miss from not eating salt, you can pull out of spices. And the reason why salt does two things. One, it brings a salty flavor, but in terms of taste, what you're tasting, the flavor is only a tiny component of it. There are only 4 or 5 distinct flavors. The rest is all aromatics. And so the other thing that we get from salts are the aromatics, because salt breaks down fats and it releases an umami flavor. And you can supplement that umami flavor in anything you're cooking through spices. So looking for an umami flavor in a lot of ways is going to help satisfy the salt craving.
Well, that's
so
good to know.
This is a collection of large flavors, spice blends that you can use in place of salt. Some very simple, like poultry seasoning, herb de Provence, which is a very, very basic. That's one of my favorites. Yeah. Basic ingredient, but it's so good, and a good chili powder.
Nice. Well, these are all things that I love, because the herbs de Provence, I love that in like a lentil stew. Mm-hmm. That it's just like comfort food. It's so delicious. Chili powder, I love
so
that.
In herb de Provence, actually, the inclusion of lavender is controversial.
So does yours have it or not?
Yeah, we do have
it,
and I think most Americans expect it. But if you go to France and you go to a grocery store and you buy a jar of herb de Provence, it generally would not have lavender in it. Right? lavender is not really in France considered a culinary item. It's used as an aromatic. It's used in bath products. But not generally used from a culinary standpoint.
That's very interesting.
But there are other French herb blends that are also delicious and a little bit different. But like herb de Provence, they can be driven by tarragon, driven by bay leaf, and basil. So there are some great herb blends, and they're so simple to work with because you can't over season with an herb blend. So
nice.
Very, very forgiving.
I like that you have the little gift boxes too. That's wonderful because then people don't have to think about it. You've already assembled ones that are nice to give as a gift. And these are so cute, you guys. Look at this. How sweet is that? Adorable. Who wouldn't want to get that as a gift?
It's a great gift. It's non-denominational.
Right.
So,
I love it.
So also in SOS Free, we have the blends, and I think we mentioned that on our website we have a page that pulls out just SOS Free blends.
Right.
But it also has suggestions of base spices. Virtually every base spice is going to be SOS Free.
Right.
But the bigger, stronger flavors tend to be more popular in the SOS and vegan crowd. Mostly. These are people that are looking for big flavors, and a great one is cumin.
I love cumin.
It's a simple ground seed.
I love it in my hummus. I love it in my Mexican food. Oh my gosh! Oh, wow. So that smells so much better than the kind that you buy at Costco, you guys. Oh my gosh!
There's a chef in Sonoma. She's actually the lead food writer for the Santa Rosa Press Democrats. She's authored 25 cookbooks. And whenever I see her, she gives me endless crap about my cumin because she said, "How can something simple like cumin be so much better?"
That's what I'm wondering. Like what?
Freshness. It's just
the freshness, and it's a different color too. It's like a different color than
that's the freshness too. I think both with.
Oh my gosh, that is just amazing. Okay, so you're gonna have to put that on my list too for my take home today.
Another one that's extremely popular is this is a tomato powder. It's you don't see it commonly sold in grocery stores, although it's very, very common. Tomato powder is in large scale cooking, but the vast majority of the tomato powder that's sold in this country is actually a spray-dried tomato powder, and what that means is it's essentially an industrial process where they take the tomatoes and they liquidize them. They run them through a big blender.
Okay.
They add chemicals that allow them to flow easier through their equipment, and then they shoot them out as a very fine spray through a heat source. So what falls out is the tomato powder. In our case, what we do is we purchase a product that it's tomatoes that were originally sun-dried tomatoes, and then they super dry them in a dehydrator so they're dry enough for us to run through our mill, and we mill them ourselves down to a fine powder. And what you get is a different flavor. It is rich and sweet like a sun-dried tomato.
Yes.
The other tomato powder can be very, very astringent, even bitter, and it just doesn't have the same depth and sweetness and flavor.
So how do we use that?
Boy, you can put it on anything. I mean, you could literally use this any way you use paprika. You could use it for coloring to sprinkle on top of things.
Okay.
And the flavor is so sweet and rich. One of the things I like to tell people is, in addition to the great flavor, it's also a very good thickener.
Oh.
So when you're making sauces, and with vegan sauces are very important, and being able to thicken without oil is a great thing. Spices are great for that. So the tomato powder is great. Mushroom powder is also great as a thickener, and it brings a good, rich umami flavor.
So if I was going to make a gravy, I could
Absolutely.
Yeah,
no question.
Okay.
In fact, I would use both this and the mushroom powder in a
Together.
gravy.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds wonderful.
Smoked paprika we talked about.
I love
But
it.
yeah, I mentioned how sweet it is.
Yes. Wonderful.
Yeah. So our offering for SOS Free and whole plant-based, I think it's actually a significant offering and in some ways unique.
I think it is. And I like that you have the spice blend so we don't have to try to figure that out ourselves, because people are busy. People don't have time to, you know, they don't want to get out 10 different jars every time they go to cook something and have to make their own Italian spice or their own Mediterranean, or, you know, they don't want to have to do that. So I love that you're doing that for us. It takes all the guesswork out of it.
What you had just said about spice blends.
Yes.
And one of the things that's great about spice blends for a plant-based diet, we find, you know, you're eating a lot of what I call neutral palettes.
Yes.
You know, you're eating a lot of grains and rice and potatoes and sweet potatoes.
Yes.
And you know, it's what you bring to it that makes it exciting. You know, Chef AJ talks about how, you know, most cooks, even really good cooks, only have 10 to 12 recipes that they use on a regular basis. But take something really simple, and this is, Evelyn's heard me say this a lot recently because I'm going to write this up.
Okay,
but
good.
Take something really simple like a chickpea salad or a chickpea stew. You know, we all have made that. We all have a basic recipe that we use, and we think that that's a chickpea stew.
Right.
But if you take the basics of that, you know, right, you get a can of chickpeas, you rinse it, you drain it, you crush you know 10-20% of them under a fork so that you can build up a sauce with it. But from there, it's you can just grab a jar and decide where you want to take it. Where do you want to go? You want to go to Morocco? Well, let's put some ras el hanout in it. We'll drop some golden raisins and some sliced nuts. You want to go to France? Well, let's put some capers in it and a little bit of herbe de Provence and some chopped shallots, and suddenly it's a French dish.
Right.
You know, it's so easy, and what makes it easy is if the blend of flavors are pre-made in a spice blend. And I think, you know, people come in, they think that spices are complex and difficult, but really they make it very, very easy. If you don't consider yourself an accomplished cook, it's really simple just to grab a flavor, add it to one of your neutral palettes, and you've got something delicious.
And I love that you're saying that, because you don't have to have a recipe.
Yeah.
Right? So you know that you have the basic ingredients, and then you can change it up from there. So every week it can be a little bit different, and I love that. And that's what people want too.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
want quick, easy, and simple, and they don't want to have to chase the recipes either. So that's great. So in conclusion,
so this was something that my wife put together.
I love that.
We had at our table at the Ultimate Weight Loss, and since no one read it then, we're going to read it to everyone now.
okay.
So the you know, SOS Free Lifestyle Promise: color, depth, taste, aroma. These are all things that you should be looking for in your spices, and that, you know, we are committed to delivering. It's why we're here. No added salt, no oil, no sugar, no irradiation, no ETO, no GMO, no fillers, no additives, no gluten, no anti-caking agents, no essential oils. In other words, this is the world of no.
But yes on flavor.
Yes on flavor. Globally sourced, locally milled, and blended in small batches. And as we say on the front of our building, real food, real flavor.
So as you can tell, they are very passionate about what they do. And so you can trust that everything that they're putting out on the website for sale is the highest quality and the best product that they can possibly provide. So if you want to order something, go to localspicery.com, and as a special program for our followers, on the checkout page, if in the comment section, if you put in Tami Nutmeg Notebook, Nick will give you 2 free samples of one of the no salt added blends that they have come up with. And if you want to make a little notation in there that you'd like it to be something spicy, or you'd like it, you know, to be Mediterranean. If you have a preference, you can put that in there. They'll try to accommodate that. But just know that because they do mill everything in small quantities, they might be out of the exact one you want, but they'll give you something that's really close to that. So try out Local Spicery, you guys. They are amazing. And if you live in the Sacramento area, make the drive to Marysville. It's not that far, and it's a cute little town. Thanks for watching today. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to Nutmeg Notebook and click on that little bell over there so that you won't miss any new videos that we have coming up. And when we do our lives on Tuesday Live with Tami and sometimes Tom, you'll get a notification for that as well. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.